Hello everyone and welcome back to GameCast. I'm joined by Darren and James.
Heyo.
Hey.
So we'll start off as we did the last time. What have you guys been playing since the last episode?
Metal Gear Solid on the PS Vita.
Collection.
Yeah, the collection.
That was the 3DS port, wasn't it? They have all the touchscreen controls and stuff.
Nah, not that shit.
Oh,
Like
right.
the
I played the
yeah.
touchscreen one.
The
It's horrendous.
Yeah, I've heard it was a horrible port, alright, yeah.
It was just
That was like Snake Eater, and I didn't even look at it. I didn't even pick it up to look at it in GameStop or anything. I was like, nah, this is inferior.
If it was on fire, you wouldn't even hiss it out. So you know.
Metal Gear games are already challenging enough without adding in more bullshit controls.
Yeah, no, it's tough enough in the PS Vita because I've been playing 2 on it, Sons of Liberty, and I've gotten to the point where you're doing the mech battles with Ray. You know, like they just keep coming at you, and you're just trying to kill them, and it's impossible.
Playing as Raiden.
Yeah.
That was a good twist. And you, Darren?
I've been playing the port of Doom 3 on the Switch actually, and it's fantastic. It's a really, really great port. Runs full 1080p, 60 frames per second actually in dock mode, 720p handheld, and it's great. Doom 3 is one of those games I go back to like practically every year because they really kind of started my love for like survival horror. I remember watching like the Doom movie that came out in 2005.
Carl Urban and The Rock.
Yeah, Carl Urban and The Rock. Yeah,
It gets a lot of hate, but I actually really enjoy that film.
like it's not a good Doom movie, but
It's not a good movie in general, but still
it's fun. It's fun,
yeah.
So there was
The only
a
reason I ever remember that film, the only reason is just the first-person shooter thing.
The sequence.
yeah, it was cool.
I remember thinking, oh my god, this is unbelievable, they should put this in a game.
But yeah, there was like a special feature on that was talking about the release of Doom 3. There was like a guy giving like a video guide on how to get through it alive. This really like enthusiastic hyper guy that just like lived and breathed Doom 3. So that really like set off my interest for it, because this is that time when I was on the PS2. I had no idea graphics on Xbox could like get that good.
Oh yeah.
Because Doom 3 was humbling like powerful PCs back in 2004. So I was looking at this like, holy crap, like games can actually look like that. And now
You want to keep going?
and now we're getting them on handhelds, and it's just really cool to just lie in bed, pop in the headphones, and just immerse myself in Doom 3 all over again.
The Switch has actually really impressed me recently with the kind of the lineup of games that are coming. Like The Witcher 3, like that's not a small game, so the fact that it's being ported over is a big thing. It shows that they're willing to give gamers what they want, like rather than just playing Zelda or Mario or other of their traditional games.
That's
Like
what they get you. Microtransactions. They're going to be there.
But in terms of third-party support for the Switch, compared to like previous generations of Nintendo consoles, the Switch seems to be killing it that way.
a lot more recently, like with the E3 where they started to announce all the new ones. Like Resident Evil is finally making its way onto the Switch. I think it's kind of the crappier versions of Resident Evil. I heard 6 was going onto it, and that's pretty poor game.
Nobody cares about 6, but 5 is coming, and 5 is pretty fun.
4 is on it, isn't it?
4 is on everything that has ever existed.
It's Nintendo's Skyrim.
4
Skyrim.
Oh yeah, it's like Skyrim for Nintendo.
like 4 was even ported to this obscure Brazilian games console called
Nintendo console.
there was some obscure Brazilian console called the Zibo or something, and the Resident Evil 4 is on that. But it has 5 games, and Resident Evil 4 is one of them.
Soulja Boy made his own console. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And he was literally just buying these Chinese things that cost you $20 to buy, and he was selling them for $150 on his website.
He was delusional. It was so funny though.
Thanks for supporting my game.
So since the last podcast, I finally finished the PS4 exclusive Days Gone. Once I finally got to the end of it, I had a few thoughts that I would put into a video. It's now on the channel. And since then, I've avoided going for any game that's like long term. It's because Days Gone just took 30 hours, and that's a long time for me nowadays. So I've been kind of dipping in and out of like games like Little Nightmares, Portal 2. I haven't really committed to a game, but the next one I'm looking to get is the next Star Wars game. So until that comes out, I'm kind of just gonna splash around games here and there. I don't really want to commit to one per se. So with that said, we're going to jump straight into the first question. What game have you spent the most amount of time on, either through a single run or multiple?
I would have to say Fallout 3. Yeah, I got it back in the day when it first came out, and just the idea of like a Oblivion with guns and like a post-apocalyptic wasteland, like
Skyrim with guns.
it was absolutely enchanting. So I picked that up around, I think it released in October, didn't it? October, like all those years ago.
Came out in 2008.
But it was like the only game I had at the time. I played everything else to death. So I just hyper focused on this one game and just immersed myself in it for months and months, like. And then one day I was saving my game and it just said 130 hours. I was like, damn, okay. I didn't realise.
I actually wasn't aware of the Fallout series until the Fallout 4 announcement, because I was working with some guys who were like hyping it up to me. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this game. So I kind of jumped on the Fallout bandwagon on 4 and then jumped straight back off again because 4 was just disappointing for me.
Yeah, DLC wasn't too bad. I kind of enjoyed the DLC.
My problem is that the Wasteland was just a bit too empty for my liking. And I know they were like emphasizing the customization of like your strongholds and all, but I just thought it was not entertaining at all.
I got completely burnt out on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I never got into the base building aspect of it because it just didn't work, which was the total opposite of what Todd Howard said it would. I can almost hear his nasally voice in my head. It just works.
I actually enjoyed the base building in it because it had its own weird quirks, which Fallout is a quirky game anyway, so the building mechanics were just quirky. Like if you wanted to snap something in a weird position, you had to do some fucking stupid
the welcome mat glitch
360 jump shot to get something to click. Like
you talk about the welcome mat glitch where it's like you can't get walls to line up straight. So if you put them on a welcome mat and move the welcome mat, you can rotate the whole wall. Guess what they patched? That. They won't patch the game breaking bugs or the performance. They won't patch that, but they will patch the one thing that makes their system work.
Which is like the base building, because it was just so broken and it was just quirky and
it was just funny.
It's just funny. Like,
is it a bug or a feature? Yes.
Yeah.
So what was it about Fallout 3 as opposed to 4 that kind of kept you hooked for that long? Like 130 hours of serious commitment?
Like in hindsight, like the gunplay was really, really finicky. And yeah, the performance was horrible and there was a ton of bugs as well. But at the time, like I just had no like real critical thinking towards games. Like I was just getting the latest game and just enjoying the crap out of it for what it was, flaws and everything.
The world lore wasn't as strong. I felt like Fallout 4 was like a premonition of what the next Fallout would be, which ended up being 76, because in Fallout 4 there's not much like interaction with the world and the characters and the NPCs, and ended up becoming 76, which was just a big turd.
Yeah,
I heard that it's actually gone through a bit of a kind of a
it's like the
remaster.
It's like No Man's Sky. A ball of dirt and
now it's slightly picking up, but I think the damage with Fallout 76 is just done. There's no Man's Sky story there.
Yeah.
So James, what's your answer?
Yeah, I was gonna say same
as Fallout 3.
Pretty much, yeah. So the DLC just gets sucked into the DLC and that, and then on the other hand, it's a bit of a toss between that and of course my favourite series of all time, Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear Solid 4 to be particular, because it was the first one that I actually kind of got on, was just went balls deep. I played it like 7 times in a row, and you know that game as long as the cutscenes.
The cutscenes amount to a couple of hours themselves.
Yeah.
And you said it took you 130 hours to play Fallout and enjoy it slowly and whatnot.
And that's just on Xbox 360, because I got it with mods on PC years later and ended up playing it in a whole new way. So
130 hours is a speed run for Metal Gear Solid 4.
Or even Black Ops 2 is another one, because I had like 15 days just of my life just vanished.
I know one guy who has restarted Modern Warfare 2 in hype of the new Modern Warfare coming out, and he has pumped 28 days so far since he's just cracked his PS3 back up, and that was about a week ago. Oh my god. Personally now, I'm going to go for a game that isn't exactly recognised as much as it should be. Is WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. I was a huge fan of wrestling, as you can see from all the belts and whatnot I have around the place. But SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 had me hooked because there was a career mode in it, and as you know, WWE features like mad storylines. And in SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, they had a really, really good career mode that had loads of storylines that you could revisit by branching out into different paths. So like I would literally come home, play through an entire year campaign, start again, do everything differently, branch off into the different storylines. Like if you have the title belt for this period of time, you branch off into this storyline, and it just kept me going And like if you were to use certain characters, you unlocked different paths and that kind of stuff. So that game, I'd say I couldn't even tell you how much time I spent on it.
I think some of the funnest PSP games are the SmackDown games.
SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 for the PSP was magnificent.
Yeah,
Although they were very limited though because it performed poorly in hindsight, but when I got it, it was just amazing. So, moving on. Has a game's storyline ever reduced you to tears? No, take your time.
There's only one time I can think of the time where I actually cried with a game. And
No, it doesn't have to be like a full on.
No, but like a genuine. I was like, no, it just got me. And it was a Call of Duty game, and I'd say I was probably like,
oh, I think I know what it is.
8, 9, or 10 or something like that, and it was like Call of Duty Finest Hour and I think it was Big Red 1, Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1, and it was like, I just really liked one of the characters because he's like, yeah man, I'm from the Bronx. It was a terrible Brooklyn or Bronx impression, but he was just like, a typical fucking New York kind of dude, like, and yeah, I got attached to that guy. And there's one scene where you're running uphill and he gets blown to smithereens and his body's on the ground, and I was just like, I can't even remember his name.
It's just too much.
He's irrelevant now.
You make that sound a lot better than it probably looked.
It was actually amazing for the time. The graphics. You go back now, the graphics are terrible.
I've played it recently.
I remember just the scene. I was like, wow, and then I was like, boom, and I was like, he's gone. The graphics look amazing when it happened.
So, to be honest, now when I wrote that question, I wasn't expecting Call of Duty to feature on the answer list now.
Yeah, I can't think of it. Nothing else really, but that.
Well, a shout out to James's fallen comrade in Call of Duty 2, the Big Red One. Darren, please have
Sergeant Kelly. I think.
Sergeant Kelly.
Something like that.
We'll make sure and we'll write it in the description below if it is Sergeant Kelly. Darren, please pick something that makes sense.
There's a couple of times now, maybe more of that, but I can't really think.
Give us a few examples.
The Mass Effect 3 Citadel DLC, if you've ever played it.
Just Mass Effect in general.
No.
3 made me cry when I played it.
It really would. It was like basically there's this whole DLC centered around basically just like your character's relationships with the other cast members, but it all ends with this big house party that you can throw in your like penthouse apartment place, and the party is hilarious. Like you get to see like it's probably the equivalent of like, do you remember the party in Age of Ultron where you get to see all the different heroes interacting with the different characters and like just kind of let their guard down and just chat shit and just have fun. Like it's kind of like that, and then when it ends and like everybody's hungover the morning after and they're gonna go onto the spaceship and go towards the final battle, there's this really like gentle piano music when they're all just like sitting on this railing kind of like looking out at the ship, and what was it? Someone says, that was a great night, Shepard, and they walk on, and he, like your character Shepard, just goes, yeah, and he kind of just really quietly to himself, he just goes, the best, and like I'm just like, like I'm just so attached to all these characters. Like it's finally ending, like the game is finally ending, so it just really set me off. It was really powerful stuff. Like
just talking about Mass Effect, I'm assuming Mass Effect 2 was amazing. Now, I've never played for Mass Effect, but everyone raves about the suicide mission from Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Did you manage to save everyone?
Not on my first playthrough, no. Yeah, it was Grunt, I think that's...
he's dead.
Yeah.
He's a Krogan, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like I picked him to... there's like a part where you need someone to like hold off a lot of enemies or something, so I picked him because he's like the most durable guy there. The Krogan aliens in it have this like really strong regeneration.
Big ugly dude.
Yeah, like they can take a ton of punishment in the first place, but they can also heal from it real fast. So I'm like, this guy was literally made to be a tank. This is a no-brainer. No. He gets found just riddled with bullets, and yeah, that was the end of it.
Who are you supposed to pick?
Who was it meant to be? Can you remember?
I can't recall. I put so much time into that game too.
Yeah, but like you have to make really specific choices, and like anyone who falls outside of those choices will perish. So
I believe it starts off from the start of the game as well, doesn't it? Your choices, you have to influence them the whole way along the game.
Yeah, as far as I know, like there are choices that have knock-on effects like later on in the game, and like only at a few select points in the later games, but it doesn't affect the suicide mission. It's just the choices you make at the time will affect the outcome.
Okay. So for me, The Last of Us, Chapter 1.
Still have to play it.
What?
I have it at home and I have a new game started, but I was like, okay, I want to like sit down and focus on
it.
This.
It is a purely cinematic experience.
Yeah, I don't want to have anything else distracting me. I want to sit down and just immerse myself in it.
Yeah, like an hour in that game is like sitting through an hour of like Lord of the Rings or something. You just immerse and like, and I know like it. I was watching a video of it lately, and the game doesn't look as great as it used to in my mind, but it's still just everything is just right. I wouldn't say perfect, but it's just right. And at the start of the game, are you aware?
I was started it. Yeah.
Just don't want to spoil anything. At the start of the game, when your young daughter Sarah is found with like a bullet hole, and he's just like,
wait, what? No, I'm joking.
Sorry.
No, I'm gone. I've seen it.
And he's just like begging her not to go and like, stay with me, baby girl, stay with me. I was just like, fuck. That's the toughest open to a game I've ever experienced.
Yeah, they really just hit you right with it from the get-go.
I'm just like, it's going to be one of those games. So I'm really looking forward to The Last of Us Part 2. Hopefully it starts off just as heart-wrenching. So, another one. What would you say is a game character that has the biggest impact on you? Tough one.
I'd be inclined to say, like, purely because the character's journey is something that kind of resonates with me, I would actually say Jack from Jak and Daxter. Purely because, like, it's kind of... I mean, like, his journey kind of reflects what every adult goes through anyway. Like, he kind of...
I'm unaware of the Jak and Daxter series apart from the Daxter solo game. So, do you want to start from the start and just explain to me what happens?
So the first game is very cartoony and very innocent. You know, it's just big cartoony open world.
It's very like Ratchet and Clank kind of vibe from what I've seen.
Yeah, so Jack and his friend Daxter disobey their village elder and they go to this island off the coast that's like filled with these like tribal monkey kind of things. But they're actually being led by these evil sorcerer kind of people. So due to an accident, Daxter falls into a pool of this stuff called dark eco. It's like this dark liquid that can mutate things, and he turns into the little fluffy guy that's on the front cover.
Little mascot.
Yeah. So the events of that game happen anyway, but in Jak 2 gets way, way darker because they find this artifact at the end of the first game that lets them like travel through time. But when they open it, this huge like demon guy comes through the portal and actually like destroys the world of the first game. So that premise alone was pretty dark for me. I was like, damn, that's like, you know, the lovely game that the world that I fell in love with from the first game is now like gone. It's completely destroyed. All those friendly NPCs probably butchered. And Jack lands in this grim dystopian city in the future. That's like this huge metropolis place with huge walls on all sides, built to protect them from the creatures outside the walls, which are actually the creatures that came through the portal and took over the world in the past, because you've landed like 500 years in the future.
And are they aware that it was Jack that did it?
No, they have no idea. No one has a clue. Well, it wasn't his fault though. I mean, he hit the button, but like he did not know what was going to happen. But he actually gets kidnapped by the dictator of the city, Baron Praxis, and he experiments on him with dark eco because he wants to.
Oh, this is where the dark Jack or something comes from.
That's where it comes from. Yeah, he basically wanted to make this like dark battalion of super soldiers to fight against the monsters outside, and Jack was the only one that actually survived. But Daxter helped him escape, so he uses his new dark powers to like fight back against Baron Praxis and lead an underground resistance.
Go on.
But obviously I have not undergone dark eco transformations or led a resistance, but the kind of the growing up aspect of it, the loss of innocence, the coping with a world that wasn't as bright and like friendly as you thought it was, and getting stronger from it and actually overcoming trauma and rising to the occasion, like that's something I think everybody goes through.
It sounds similar to the way Kingdom Hearts kind of starts off, where you start off in this desolate little paradise, and then you discover that the world isn't as great and bubbly as it seemed.
Similar vibes, yeah. Absolutely.
Although I didn't particularly enjoy Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
You can go. I'm still pondering away.
So like, there was a couple of people that came to mind, but I'll go with one simply because I really wanted to experience this character's story, and that is Nathan Drake. Because the character for the first 3 games we get is this kind of never say die character who's fun, doesn't take himself too seriously, and like aspires to do better. But then in the 4th one, we get a much deeper layer to Nathan Drake, and we just discover his origin story, where he came up with the name Nathan Drake, and in general, just like his love and his respect towards his friends and his brother, his desire to keep his brother safe and do whatever he can to make sure that happens. I was just like, this is such a humane character in a video game that we just don't see too often. Usually we're used to a character who just guns down hundreds of enemies, doesn't think twice, whereas Nathan Drake, you have the commentary the whole way through the game where he's talking about what's going on, that he's scared, that he was afraid he was going to lose this person, that person, and it adds a real realistic tone to the Uncharted games that I think are what makes it so special. So like, I didn't play the Uncharted games when they came out. I played them in the Nathan Drake collection, and I literally just blew them out of the way within a 3-week span because I was so engrossed in this character. Then when Uncharted 4 arrived after I ordered it, I literally just cleared it in one day because I really wanted to experience what happened with this character, to see where it went. And I think you both agree that the series ended on a very fine note.
Absolutely, yeah. Going back to your earlier question, the ending for Uncharted 4 is the other game that actually had me crying.
Really?
To be honest, yeah, because it just ended just so perfectly, you know? Like, all these characters deserved that really happy ending they got.
It didn't have me crying. It had me smiling.
Yeah.
But
I was smiling and crying. Like. I was smiling.
It was tears of joy.
And crying with joy, like, yeah. You know, I was so happy for my main man, Nathan, you know?
And, like, do you know the way, like, sometimes when a game series ends, you have, like, a kind of, like you're missing something? I did have that, but then when I played The Lost Legacy, I thought it was an absolute perfect way to end Uncharted, because it was kind of like a cool down period, if you get me. We still got to experience Uncharted, but they pulled some of the features, like Nathan Drake not being present, but they gave us Sam Drake, which was a bit of a difference, and it just felt, I'm ready to let Uncharted go now.
Yeah, that's exactly how I describe it, because it was more Uncharted, but it wasn't like dragging it out. You know, it wasn't like
it was an epilogue of a game. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Because like they could have just like made another one, or like forced Nathan to like go on yet another adventure, but no, they got the adventure with retirement. You know, we got to see like the adventure with Chloe. We got to see like what Nadine did and how she felt after the events of 4. We got to see more of Sam. I was totally pleased with it. Like,
James.
Yeah, I'm still stumped on that. Repeat the question, please.
Going again. What would you say is a game character that has had the biggest impact on you? Now, it doesn't have to be something like emotion or something. Let's just say a game character that you like thought really highly of and like you really enjoyed playing as.
Or a character that you have to have played as, or just a character that you like?
Let's say it could be anyone. It could be a side character who guides you along or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm okay. Someone that guides you along. Then I suppose my favourite character then in that sense would be like good old Otacon from Metal Gear.
Alright, that's fair enough.
The voice of guidance throughout your missions. Because he's just this little, it starts off as when you first meet him, he's just this little...
He pisses himself.
Yeah, he pisses himself. Fucking big ass ninja dude.
Yeah, in fairness now.
And then Snake walks into the room and he's like these 2 fucking massive dudes that he thinks are trying to kill him. But like, and then pisses himself.
I think I know what you mean. Like, Otacon is a character who's always there for you throughout the series.
Yeah,
he's playing a Solid Snake. Like, he's always there. He's your backbone, nearly.
But like, because even though he's a side character, even throughout the games, you see him kind of develop as a bit of a, he starts off as a bit of a weakling, but he kind of gets stronger as he goes along. Like, you see him
he
find out more.
He discovers his strength, like.
Yeah. Like, he's a bit of a pussy as well at the same time.
Well, he does sit behind a computer screen for most of the game, and
wasn't a very good description.
Well, like, even the part of where when you first meet him, he's like this shivering mess.
Yeah.
And then at the end of 4, he's confident in himself, and they're looking for Snake, and he's like, oh, he's always late, and like he's more laid back, and you see a growth there.
There's like one really weird part in 2. I don't know if you remember it, but he's like talking about like his childhood and why he left home and left his sister there, and like, you know, his sister goes off and big mad mess and makes a load of nuclear bombs and stuff like that, just to get back at her brother from leaving, you know, leaving her.
Well, even if you include like the arc of his father being this like sneaky little bastard, if you mind the language.
And his mother used to fucking molest him. That was apparent.
Yeah,
and he's like, right, yup, I'm out here.
The father killed the mother as well.
Yeah.
What was her name?
I can't remember, man.
I think it was like Valentine or something like that. But what happened there is in Phantom Pain, they find that Huey was after killing his wife and hiding him in this like container, and they open up and find her, and like Huey is like exiled for like a number of reasons, and you don't see him again. But then Octagon is Huey's son. Octagon, sorry. Octagon's UFC. So yeah, so then like you have that to consider, like why he is. Alright, easy now. That's at the start, like that kind of explains why he's such a nervous wreck and all, because of what he's gone through. But then you kind of get a sense towards the end of the series that he's kind of overcame those with the help of like Solid Snake and the people around him.
More resilient.
Yeah, he's more resilient. So
you buy beta cock to resilient dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just out
Have you ever been so scared that you had to stop playing a video game?
I don't want to admit it, but yeah, I have. Basically, I was playing. Do you remember the first Fear game? Fear, like first encounter Assault Recon, the first person shooter.
The child who's not really a child.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Alma. Creepy little ghost girl. Yeah. So I was playing that, and I had headphones on, turned up quite loud because I wanted to be 100% immersed.
Immersed in the game.
I was. 100%.
Apparently, it was a very good shooter as well.
Oh, it's fantastic! Yeah, it was. It's actually really famous for its AI. The AI of the soldiers was just so intelligent. So, let's say you go into a room with like a long hallway, and there's like a bit of cover here. You're shooting at guys at the end. If you stay camped by that cover, they'll like get a guy with a shotgun to run down the hallway next to you. Because like if he gets close to you when he comes out the doorway next to you, like the shotgun's close range, that's like instant death.
Yeah.
So they'll throw a grenade to flush you out, and then like you'll run across into the hallway to get away from it, and then the guy with the shotgun is there waiting for you.
This sounds very advanced for a game that was released in 2005.
So advanced. You can watch YouTube videos where they show you examples of the AI. Like they'll set up situations and you'll see the AI like react logically with it. It's really, really famous. Like no game has come close nowadays. In fact, people say like next gen consoles, like they have the graphics and stuff nailed down, but they still just completely lack the AI.
AI is a big problem for me in games nowadays. So what was the moment in Fear, getting back to that caused you to have uncontrollable fear?
So I was fully immersed in it anyway, and I'd been playing it for quite a while. So at that point, like I had endured a lot of scares, and I was kind of exhausted at that point. So there's this part where you're running down a dark hallway, and at the end of the hallway there's like a foreman's office. It's in this big industrial kind of building. So there's like a foreman's office with like a load of like just computers and stuff inside. So I'm going towards, and it's well lit. So I'm like, oh, there must be like health kits and stuff in there.
Yeah.
So just as you're running, it's totally silent. Only your footsteps can be heard, and I'm there running along, and then all these ghosts appear like up against the window, like screaming at you, and there's this really loud, bassy, kind of sound like right in your ear. So I was just like, Jesus. I was like, okay, look, they got me good, but this isn't fun anymore. That's enough fear for today. So I turned it off and I went to bed.
I imagine that happened the whole way through Fear.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, like I'm used to it now. Like I can play it no bothers now because I know where all the scares are. They don't really get me anymore.
But even the concept of the game of like a ghost child haunting you was just when I read that in the PlayStation magazine when it came out, I was like, nope, I don't want to look at this page. Turn it over.
Yeah, I suppose for me it's not really going to be like a scary game. It might sound a bit silly, but when I first played it would have been Dark Souls, and it's not necessarily a scary game.
I think it's just the tension is just too high.
It'll have you on edge.
It's not, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's not the fear. Like, you know, it's not a scary game. You know, there's not going to be jump scares, but the game just makes you really fucking anxious. Like,
yeah, like the first time you're playing it, you're kind of walking everywhere with your shield held up constantly.
Yeah,
because you just don't know what to expect to jump out at you.
It's just this constant anxiety, and when you do get to the boss battles, that just anxiety levels just going through the roof.
Just aim for the ass.
Carrying that kind of tension for a long period of time, it would wear you out. Like, so, you know, the amount of times I've said like that's enough Dark Souls for today.
Yeah.
You know,
no, I've often like I've never completed one, and I've often put it on, and I'm like, this time I'm gonna do it, and then it just kind of gets, you know, I just screw this. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I think my playtime for Dark Souls on the PC is about 20 minutes because I was like,
casual.
I can't do anymore.
It's not a game that scares you, but it definitely puts you on edge.
I ran down the wrong laneway. Do you know when you leave the asylum and you land at the main area? I ran backwards down the steps to an area where the levels are a lot higher, and I was being chased by like these wraiths, and I was like, I managed to kill one of them surprisingly, and they were just like haunting the shit out of me. I was like, oh my god. So then I got talking to Kelvin or Romer, and he was telling me to just go fucking right. So I did that, and I managed to get a good bit down the game. I managed to get like an hour through.
Towards Undead Burg and...
Yeah, like jump up the stairs, the normal fucking way to go.
Yeah.
I got through about an hour, got to the boss, killed the boss, and then I got killed by some like little foot soldier, and it like sent me back to the bonfire, and I was like, that's enough. Turned it off.
It is punishing, but it's also incredibly addictive, and when you get good at it, like, it's so just, you get really far and you just want to see more and more of what the game has to offer in terms of the locations, the atmosphere, all the exotic enemies you fight, all the cool weapons and armor you can get. It's just, once you'll hit a point where you just won't be able to stop because it's too good.
I can watch walkthroughs of it all day long, but when I'm actually at the controls, I'm just mind blown. So for me, a game that I just got the controller, said nope, was Resident Evil 0. Mainly because I had a really bad experience, because I was in my cousin's house. They were all gone. It was just me and my twin brother. We turned on his Nintendo GameCube and we put on Resident Evil 0, not being fully aware of what the Resident Evil series was about, but we were smart enough to recognise from the case that it was kind of a horror themed game, and it was bright daylight, so we're like, yeah, go on, throw it on, we won't mind. So we put it on anyway, and if you can remember the GameCube controller, it's really awkward.
Yeah.
Okay. So the game sets you in this environment. It has a real creepy opening cutscene where there's a guy on a hill and he's like standing like that, and there's like a swarm of like these like weird zombie creatures attacking this train, and like people start to get like attacked and like turning, and you're sent in to investigate this train. So you're playing as this character called Rebecca Chambers. I've actually gone back and like watched the entire game through, and I'm like, this got me. So you get on the train anyway, and when you get on the train, you're just standing there, and all of a sudden 2 corpses reanimate. The thing that scared me was the GameCube controller was so poor, I could not move. So it was just me advancing backwards like 2 steps at a time till I hit the back wall, and jamming buttons, and like nothing would work, wouldn't lift up the gun, wouldn't do anything, and I just sat there helplessly as 2 zombies killed me. I was just like, no.
It must have been traumatizing.
It was like real life, just watching zombies.
Show me on the doll where the zombies touch you.
Oh, everywhere. And like, you know, like your dead screen.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even wait for that to come up.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, I can't do that. Because
I
I knew like as soon as that would come up, it offered me the chance to retry.
Yeah.
And I was even like too afraid. Like, no, I don't want to look at that screen. Turned it off, went home, didn't speak to my parents, just didn't eat, just did not, and just sat there feeling like they're coming.
Just yeeted your friend's GameCube out the window.
Another one.
We weren't friends after that.
Another one would be Call of Duty.
You had your chance.
I don't know. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. You know, never know. Someone else might have had the same experience.
All right, go ahead.
You know, Call of Duty World at War, and I was playing a game on Veteran, notoriously hard on Veteran, trying to get the platinum, and then you pass the last mission, and then the game goes into the credits, and then you're just shot straight into Nazi zombies.
Oh God!
When the credits, the second the game credits end, goes into Nocturne Untold, the first zombie map, and you're just kind of credits end, and you're kind of like, what's this? Just got finished the game. I got the platinum trophy. And then you're just kind of waiting there, and then zombies start coming at you, and you're like, alright, it's like a mini game. But if you're playing it on your own for the first time, it's...
I'll entertain it. The cutscene where your player is like opening his eyes and there's like a zombie running at you from the distance, and it's like that was fucking creepy.
I was like, that's enough for just turn it off.
But then when you start playing like co-op in zombies, it's a
you just can't
great experience. Yeah, people who play zombies on their own should just no, thank you. Okay, gentlemen, so that's it for all the questions. You've anything else you want to talk about? Any new games that have interesting new or anything happening in gaming that has taken your fancy?
I actually picked up Astral Chain today on Switch. Any of you hear about that?
No.
Oh, it looks so cool. So it's like a futuristic anime game where you play as these cops in like this big like cyberpunk kind of city.
Oh, I think I have heard of it then.
You probably have, yeah. It's like these like aliens attack the Earth or something. And the cops use these things called legions. They're like these like alien ghost things that are like handcuffed to you with the astral chain. So the combat
thing.
He did it. He said the thing. So the combat is like you fighting like evil legions. Come on, get out of your system. Go on. But so the combat's looking pretty cool. You have to like use your legion's ability and your own weapons to like fight the enemies, but like work in tandem with your legion. So you can actually like control your legion with the right stick, I think. Have them wrap the astral chain around the enemy, and then when the enemy's like tied up, you both just wail on them. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because like
it's a co-op game, I'm assuming.
I don't think it's multiplayer. No, it's like you control your player and their legion.
So like switch over to the other person.
But you can do cool stuff as well. Like you can like have your legion float over a gap and go over to another ledge, and then you can like kind of yank yourself over.
Use them for kind of like an anchor.
Yeah, but have that bought today, and Spyro Reignited on Steam released as well, and I have that downloading, so can't wait.
The Spyro game now, I've my housemate actually bought that, and I watched it play it. It just seems like kind of aimless fun.
Reignited.
Yeah.
It's good, simple platforming fun. Like it's pretty. It's a joy to play.
Very, very pretty.
Yeah,
very pretty.
You just go around collecting all these shiny things and beating the big bads.
Ooh, shiny.
It's from an era. It's
simpler times, really.
Yeah, like you just don't see platformers like that around anymore. But also, the guy who did the soundtrack for Spyro, he's like a famous
musician, isn't he?
Yeah, he
and
does.
He came back. And he had the original files or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But a lot of the Spyro songs are actually on his like best of album, and they're these really like dreamy, upbeat, like prog rock kind of soundtracks. And the levels themselves are incredibly dreamlike and beautiful as well. Like they're so aesthetic.
They're like very like a cloud, like it's almost like a cloud.
Yeah, it's just like really like lilac covered skies, and like like when the sunlight hits the clouds.
Yeah.
Imagine those, and just like big magic-y frosty mountains and like weird little enemies. And
even the animations, like I'd nearly use the word, they're like soft.
Yeah. Like
even when he's hitting someone, I imagine it's like a pillow hitting someone.
There's just really nothing else like Spyro, so I'm looking forward to seeing it in 4K if my PC can run it.
Like I know people compare like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, but like there is a significant difference. Like Crash is kind of like fast paced, fun, cool, whereas Spyro is just kind of
first of all, sit back and enjoy. Have you ever played the first Crash Bandicoot?
Yes.
It's insane.
It's hard, it's hardcore stuff. Yeah.
And they changed the control scheme then for the second one.
So aggravating.
I had the very, very poor PS2 Crash game. What was it?
Wrath of Cortex.
Wrath of Cortex, where Crush appears. Now, like when I was younger, I thought it was great because it was a Crash game. But in hindsight, I went back and rewatched some of it on YouTube. Very, very poor compared to the original games. So like it took a long time for Crash to find its feet again.
Yeah, the overall quality of Crash kind of just plummeted once it went multi-platform.
Yeah. It's almost as if the limitations they had suited it. Whereas when they kind of got, like I remember one Crash game where it was like an overhead kind of like 3D game where you were running around. I was like, this is not Crash. This is crap.
Crash Bash, was it the multiplayer arena thing?
No, it was like this adventure style game where it had the reimaged version. Where
Crash of the Titans, was it?
Could have been. You had like it was co-op. You could play as Coco as well and run around and stuff. And it just I was like, no, this is poor. So, we have lots more coming up on the channel. We have videos coming out almost every week. We try to get one out as often as we can. There is also a teaser about to play, so take a look. Hey Darren, it's here. So that was a trailer for our upcoming series Versus. We're going to try to get that going as quickly as we can, where me and the guys will be taking each other on one-on-one in various games, whether it be Rocket League, FIFA, etc, etc. And
Just the innuendo side of it.
do you want to get it out of your system? Okay. So yeah, we're going to try to get that done as quickly as we can, depending on our own schedules. Also, I've just purchased the Dark Anthologies game Man of Medan, and Darren is going to be purchasing that himself whenever he can, and we're going to try to do a video together on that as well. So there is a good lot more content coming. So yeah, we'll go ahead with the trivia question. So
Albert Einstein over it.
not Albert Einstein. I'm not anyway smart.
Yeah.
Question 1. What is the maximum controller supported by the PlayStation 3 system?
Maximum.
How many controllers can the PS3 operate at one time?
4.
No.
No. 6.
No.
8.
No.
16?
No.
Dude.
Higher or lower?
No.
10?
No.
50.
No.
Unlimited.
No.
Just keep fucking plugging them in. Unlimited power.
It's like plugging the extension cable into itself.
Playing Tekken.
256.
No. It is a realistic number. Less than 10.
9.
No.
7.
Yes. Right, so
It's an odd number.
7?
I
6
don't know.
screens and one in the middle.
because
Right in the middle.
once you like, do you know that there's 4 LED icons on the front panel of the screen?
Mm-hmm.
They keep going, but it stops after 7. Like there's only 4.
Mm.
You can keep adding people on, it stops after 7. That's just, don't argue with the facts. Okay.
Trees, like screens like 3 down, 3 down, 3 down, just one kind of big one in the middle, just blocking everybody up.
I remember they used to do that actually, where they would split, like, let's say if you had 3, one guy got a huge panel and then the other 2 got like a little crap on it. It happened on Zombies the whole time.
You could be one of those little asshole kids that's like, oh, it's my house, I get the big screen. But then you go to your friend's house, like, I'm the guest, I get the big screen.
I always got the crap screen anyway, because I was no good at those kind of games when I was younger. Question 2. When did Mario first appear?
God.
What year?
1974.
No.
So you're probably looking at the NES era, so the 80s. So when did the NES come out?
When did Mario first appear? When
did the NES launch?
I could not tell you.
It was 80 something.
Give you a hint, it wasn't
I'm
on
gonna
a
say-
console. It was
Okay,
on an arcade
85.
system.
Okay, give me a hint. When did Italians first exist?
Eh?
When did they start talking like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, did life imitate art, or?
I think so.
I'm gonna
Well,
say-
actually, he started off as a carpenter.
I'm gonna
What?
say 85 or something.
You're close.
Just thinking when.
Right, one more guess each. Whoever gets closest.
76?
83.
1981.
Nah.
He had first appeared in 1981 in the arcade game Donkey Kong, where he was Donkey Kong's like abusive handler, and he was originally named Jumpman.
Jumpman.
Yes, he was renamed to Mario then when he was given his own title. So if you think about it, Mario is actually a spin-off of Donkey Kong, which is nearly the opposite way around now.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been GameCast episode 4. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching our video. Please like our page and subscribe to see more content from GameCast.